Good morning. I want to start this speech off with a picture that I think really embodies my Brooks career. Go ahead, laugh. It's ridiculous. For those of you who did not see Xanadu, this was the musical my sophomore year. I won't go into the details of the plot because honestly, I don't even know the plot. And I don't think anyone who is in the show knows it either. All you need to know is that I went out on stage in front of the whole school looking like that. I've never been more scared to walk out on stage in my entire life than I did while wearing this. But I did it, and now it feels like a distant dream that includes roller skates and Brian Delgado in a toga for some reason. It was a journey to get to this picture, to say the least, and I want to share with you how I got there. Freshman year was a tough transition for me, as it is for a lot of people. It could be called a toughie or a tough go, as I like to call it. But before we dive into that, let's go back to the summer of 2016. Fresh out of the Pike School, I was set to attend Brooks in the fall, and an email came saying that I needed to pick my afternoon activities for the coming year. I actually went backwards in picking because it was a given that I would do softball in the spring. It is my main sport, and I played on multiple tournament teams in the summer from 10 years old up until this year. But anyways, spring sport, check. Next up, the fall and winter. Sorry. My dad really wanted me to try squash just to see if I liked it because it was a new sport for me, so I signed up. Winter sport, check. Last but not least, the fall. Alongside softball, I've been doing theater since I was 6 years old. If you've never talked to me or don't know me, well, first of all, hi, I'm Jen. Nice to meet you all. But you probably can't tell just by looking at me that I am definitely a theater kid. On a pretty normal basis, I'm either listening to, humming, singing, or belting show tunes or just songs in general. So I felt like I owed it to myself to do the play. My sister was involved in the Brooks Theater program and had great experiences with it. So I signed up. Fall activity, check. Now, fast forward a month or two, and we've reached the first week of school. I recognize some faces, but there are a lot of people I don't know. The first couple weeks of freshman year felt like every move I made would be set in stone for the next 4 years. I could feel this pressure starting to weigh on my shoulders. I, like everyone in a new setting, wanted to fit in, make a good impression, and find my footing in this new place. I could see friend groups were already starting to form due to preseason, and I felt left out due to my lack of a fall sport. But it was time for the first rehearsal for the fall play. I stepped into the old theater, pre-demolition era, to be greeted by Mr. Lazare and a group of around 10 highly energetic kids, none of which were in my grade. It was definitely a different vibe from a practice in the gym or on the fields. I honestly feel like I didn't say a word during that rehearsal because of how shy and quiet I was being, which is so not like me. We finished the first day of auditions and something just came over me. Nothing was wrong with the play, but I got in my own head and thought that I was missing out on opportunities to make friends with people in my grade. I wanted to be part of the routine that seemingly everyone else had. So, after one day of rehearsals, I switched from the play to the Mighty Girls Third soccer team. There, I got to spend more time with Madeline Saunders, Daniela Reyes, and Coach Rees. She is the true heart and soul behind the Girls Third soccer team. I wouldn't have wanted anyone else to lead me and the team onto the battlefield. The fall season came to a close, so did the winter, and my first softball season at Brooks ended as a success as far as I can remember. But something was still missing. I still found myself not connecting socially at Brooks, and I didn't know why. It seemed so easy for everyone else, and I was confused why it wasn't happening for me. At the end of freshman year, I had a conversation with my mom about the plan for my sophomore year. There was a serious possibility it was not going to be at Brooks. My mom said that I should do the fall play and really do the fall play the next year, and if it doesn't work out, we would start looking at other options. I could not have been happier with this choice. It is there that I got to meet and get to know Hannah, Katie, Marina, Amelina, Omo, Caroline, Sho, and Emily. The play was Radium Girls, and I played a theatrical news reporter alongside Nicole Sun. I had so much fun doing the play. On multiple occasions, I laughed so hard that I was brought to tears. especially when I got benched. Let me explain this further. For some reason, I could not sit in a chair during a group scene that I didn't have any lines in and not be distracting. It got to the point that Mr. Lazare told people to actually slowly start moving to stand in front of me because I was drawing so much attention to myself. And then he just took me out of the scene altogether. These fun moments led me to later nights in the dining hall where we were the last ones to leave because we were so caught up in the conversation and didn't want it to end. I enjoyed being around those people so much that I was so excited to go to rehearsal each day. At this point in the fall, my winter sport was still squash. But one day, during the fall play rehearsal, I was singing a random song to myself, as I usually do. Hannah Maver, a 2018 graduate, overheard me and immediately said, "Hey, you sing? You should do the musical." Wanting to continue the fun of the play, and with Hannah's persuasion, I changed my activity to winter musical. The fall and winter of my sophomore year gave me my confidence back, plus the best group of friends I could have asked for. That winter was filled with a lot of weird costumes, really high ponytails with scrunchies, 80s music, and roller skate falls. A lot of roller skate falls. But if I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. This year, there's a lot of new stuff, but still some old. For one thing, I went from this to this, and to this. Honestly, I'm torn if that was a glow up or glow down from the centaur, but whatever. As you know, the show was Beauty and the Beast. Going into this show, I wanted everything to be the same as it always had been, but I knew it couldn't be. All of the 2019 seniors were gone, and it was time for myself and the other 2020 seniors to step up and be leaders. Right from the start, I noticed something I never noticed before. Kids that do theater are really loud. It's either singing like they're on a Broadway stage or just really loud talking. Nothing was fundamentally wrong with it, but let's just say a lot of volume checks were needed in the Art Center this winter. A lot of times I would just gesture towards my ear or pretend I was turning a volume knob, or I would say to Caroline that my ears are old. I thought it was very strange that I hadn't noticed the volume last year or the year before. A couple of months ago, I FaceTimed Amelina, a 2019 grad who was always involved with the arts department, just to chat and catch up. I asked her if the group was always loud. She said, without hesitation, a resounding yes. I guess it just goes to show how much you age over 4 years, and I already couldn't hear to begin with. Believe me, I don't mean for that to be critical in any way. The loud singing and conversations in the Art Center are actually things I truly appreciate and will miss. I think that we all get too caught up in the stress and seriousness of our days sometimes. If we all remember to stop and smile, laugh, have fun, and scream at the top of your lungs for no reason, I think our days would get a little bit brighter. Okay, maybe not the screaming part. Throughout my high school career, I tend to laugh at myself and the situation I'm in and not take myself too seriously. It usually makes life more fun. For example, my hearing, or lack thereof, which I've already teased at once, now twice, in this speech. Another example, Dusty's Honors Advanced Pre-Calculus class. I think that can just speak for itself. Another is me being the only senior in a winter term full of sophomores. Lastly, me being the only senior in an AP Bio class full of juniors. I don't really have a poetic ending to this paragraph. I just thought these moments deserve their own section in this speech because they are pretty iconic, if I do say so myself. In my time here, I have learned to appreciate the little things, and I highly encourage you to do the same. I know that that is such a cliche, but I think cliches have a lot of meaning behind them and can teach lessons. They shouldn't be taken lightly. They wouldn't be known as cliches if they weren't true, right? What I mean by little things are those small moments in your day that happen frequently, and when they're gone, you'll miss them. I'm now going to share with you a bulleted list of my hidden gems of little things. Maddie Saunders taught me how to tap dance for 2 years in a row because choreographers think that I'm a tap dancer for some reason. PSA, I am not a tap dancer. At the end of every rehearsal, Daniela and I would sing weird trills as our way of asking each other if we wanted to go to dinner. For example, like dinner or din, or any alterations of those. And now a few about Griff. First, the different reactions he would have when I or the altos would absolutely butcher a note. One is the immediate look up from the piano that can only express one word: yikes. Or he would start to shake his head in slight disappointment and do like a smaller scale version of a wave, like no. Second, his laugh. The true Griff laugh comes after a kind-hearted roast of the altos or after a voice lesson with Saunders, because she makes everyone laugh. The countless times that people called Lyndon Linus and vice versa. My favorite time was when Mrs. Hill was saying something to Lyndon about his specific blocking in a scene, but called him Linus, and Lyndon just goes, sorry, which Linus? Sorry. I still think you guys should have your own sitcom called Lyndon and Linus, and it would document all your crazy adventures together. Elizabeth Packard accidentally stepped on my foot while wearing heels during a scene, so I had to hold in my tears of pain. I'm just kidding. She didn't even know she stepped on my foot, so I decided to cut her some slack. It did really hurt, though. Lastly, whenever this picture would pop up on the slideshow playing on the TVs in the art center, Aiden would have to stop any and all conversations to let everyone know that he is an academic weapon. If you take anything away from my talk today, let it be this: do what you love. Doing what I love gave me the courage to laugh at myself and taught me to appreciate the little things. Do what you love and don't let anyone or anything change your mind, because it's that thing that introduces you to the people that you want most in your life, and it will give you those feel-good memories that can last a lifetime. And I am sure you don't need to wear half of a horse to do it. Thank you.